everybody. What's up? I am totally testing out a new video and audio setup today. This is my first stream on here. So we'll see what happens. I don't know if all the kinks are worked out. And yeah, I don't actually really know how all this works. So you have to bear with me today. I'm just kind of going live and seeing what happens. Somehow you can, I think, chat with me. And I'm trying to figure out how to view the chat. Which, of course, I can't figure out. So let me know in the comments if you can hear the audio and hear everything and see everything okay. Hey Justin, hey Q. Sweet, okay, this is cool. I can see all your comments. I don't know if you can see my comments. It looks like it's popping up as restream. I'll have to figure out how to fix that. So this is pretty crazy to me. I just figured out how to set this up yesterday. So a lot of people were helping me out on the Casket Patreon Discord, and and also some friends on Facebook and stuff trying to. Hey Ron, what's up? Miss you, dude. It's been quite the year, huh? Okay, I'm gonna try something here. I'm getting like weird echo because I have my speakers on. So I just shut my speakers off. Hopefully that's a little bit better on the audio. Twerking at work. Ron says he's twerking at work. Yeah, I was looking forward to tour hangs too. Man, yeah, like I said, what a year, dude. Crazy. Cool. Well, I'm actually just going to. I figured I'd restring my guitar and chat gear with you guys if you want, or just chat about whatever. I'm just kind of hanging out for a bit today and trying to figure all this stuff out. So it looks like I'm live on Twitch, YouTube, Periscope, and Facebook. So that's rad. You guys can tune in anywhere you want. And then all the comments pop up through here, so that's cool. That's super cool. Nice, alright. Let me try one thing while you guys are hanging out here. Let me know if you can hear the guitar. Yeah, let me know if you guys can hear that guitar. That's the other thing I'm curious if that's working. And I know there's like a wicked buzz. So I'm just working that out too. Yeah, a bit of humming, yeah. It's that's something I gotta figure out, yeah. That'll be a work in progress. I'll fix that before I do any like live playing stuff. Justin says it sounds great. Cool, thanks, man. Yeah, I'm pretty stoked. Setting all this up is really crazy. But once you get it figured out, it's super, super fun. Yeah, now better. Yeah, I have my guitar turned down. It's just it's a hum coming like directly from my guitar. So that could be anything. I have a feeling it's my house wiring grounding issue. I've had problems with that before, and it's a pain to figure out. Sweet. How is the guitar tone? Does it sound cool? I've been messing around with some different guitar plugins actually, which I think I can actually share. Let me try this. Let me know. I think I can screen share with everybody, and I'll go through the different amps that I'm messing with on my computer. So here's my signal changer. We've got this TSE 808. Super cool. Just gives it a little cool extra bite. And then I'm running into this guy, which I think is modeled after a Bogner Uberschall. It's funny because I don't really use this one very often. But like, okay, so usually I'm using this Nick Crow, which is modeled after PV6505 or something like that. Maybe the EVH 5150, I don't know. But it sounded kind of weird. I tested it through over the computer last night on my own, and it just sounded weird. The Bogner just sounds a little more chunky on its own. But this thing sounds cool in a mix too. It's a little more bitey. And then after that, I've got this cab. this IR here, and what am I using? I don't know, I'm using this Angle Pro 3 cab, which is cool. And then I just run it through an EQ. And actually nothing going on with the EQ, just cutting lows and highs. Alright. So I'm just gonna kind of chill and change my strings. I haven't changed my strings in a long time, it's sad to say. So strings are feeling pretty nasty right now. Got the Dean Markley Blue Steels. I don't know if you can see that. Hey Mike, how's it going? Thanks for stopping in, man. I'm not doing anything too exciting. I'm just testing this stuff out live now. I did enough initial tests that I feel cool dropping in here. But yeah, I'm putting some Dean Markley Blue Steels. I like these a lot. Big shout out to Dean Markley for these. I've been endorsing Dean Markley since 2009, and then I've used them since I was a kid, like almost exclusively. So really love these guys. And I'm using 10 through 56 on a 7-string. A lot of times for live stuff, though, I'll go with a thicker low string. Just because of the way we hammer on these guitars pretty hard live. If you've seen us live, you've seen the guitar lifts and me sticking the headstock through ceilings and stuff like that. So sometimes these 56 strings on the low end don't cut it. Mike trimmed his dad's bush today. Oh. Mike threw me a curveball. I had no clue about this CRTV. Yeah, well, I had planned on doing this eventually, just going live on Twitch and stuff. So yeah, I thought it could use a fancy name. And it's not original. there are other bands right now doing, like, you know, band name TV. I just thought it was a cool idea. Hey Ashton, how's it going? Hey, I liked your vocal cover, dude. That was cool. I saw you were using Shure SM58, I think. Sounds really good. I can't wait to hear more of those covers. really weird because you probably can't tell here, but it's really dark in this room. Um, I got to figure out the the lighting a little bit better, but I can barely see anything. Twitch won't let you connect to the chat. I think you have to have an account. I don't know. Maybe you do have an account, but I know you have to be logged in there. I need twinkle lights. I am so jacked on coffee today. Like, my hands are shaking, but I do not feel awake at all. It's one of those days. Hey Jamie, how's it going, man? So I guess if anybody's a gear nerd in here, I can actually talk about the gear a little bit. Amanda says coffee is good, it's your friend. Yeah, totally. But yeah, so again, I'm using Dean Markley Blue Steel strings, and I've been endorsed by them for quite a while, and I've used them since I was a kid. So basically, exclusively. I've tried other strings, but these ones like always held up. It's like almost sometimes you use gear so long, and it never lets you down. It's like one of those things. Like I've never broke a string, ever. I think there was like one show 2 years ago in Texas. The last song I was like really just wailing on this little E string, and it snapped. But that was like at the end of our set when I was just screwing around. That was like the only time I broke a Dean Markley string. So I dig them. And I'm using the Spurzl locking tuners. I don't really have much experience with other locking tuners. I kind of would like to try some other ones. It seems like these slip once in a while. They don't stay in tune as much as I'd like them to. Mike, yeah, dude, if you want to do guitar lessons, I can teach you Encroaching Darkness. I have to relearn it though. These strings I have on here right now are completely dead. Unfortunately, Dean Markley stopped production or fulfilling orders because of COVID. So I have not been able to get a shipment of strings lately, and that's a real bummer. Yeah, acoustic guitar strings. I'm guilty of that too. I don't play acoustic a whole lot. But before any show or anything, acoustic to me, you can really tell the difference. Like when the strings are dead, the guitar sounds absolutely horrible. So I can't do shows unless I change strings. So I usually like change strings before every acoustic show. But yeah, they die out and they just sound awful. And when I restring, I don't know, with the fretboard and stuff, I really don't do anything special to it. And I know there's probably people that are maybe cringing at that thought, but I don't know. I've looked up videos how to maintain like maple fretboards and stuff like that. And this is a live guitar, and I don't know. I just beat it up, and it's does its thing. So I just try to wipe it and get all this gross dirt out of it. That's all. Yeah, Mike, I don't think I saw your acoustic video. I'll have to check that out sometime. This is extremely difficult because my room is so dark. That's why it looks like I don't know what I'm doing. But I actually just can't see. Yeah, equipment maintenance is essential. That's for sure. Like I said, I'm not an expert in it, so like I've looked up YouTube videos on how to treat. I guess mainly like the fretboard. This is the first maple neck I've had, um, and they're like ways you're supposed to take care of it and stuff. And honestly, like everybody has a different way, and I've had people tell me just leave it, don't worry about it, and that's kind of what I do. I just try to make sure everything's really clean. I don't put any special oils or anything on the guitar. I haven't had any issues. But yeah, if you want expert advice on how to properly maintain a guitar, probably want to talk to somebody else. I usually beat up my guitars pretty bad. The guitar I had before this was like an Ibanez RG, and that thing I had for like probably 5 years of some pretty intense touring and stuff, and man, that thing was just beat up. Yeah, playing on acoustic helps electric guitar skills. I agree with that 100%. I'm really into when I practice metal, um, specifically. I'll practice without any distortion, and then I'll practice with when I kick on the distortion, it's very minimal, so I can hear every articulation in the picking. Mostly, mostly for me. It's just trying to hear every pick attack, and then you can hear. For me, if you have like a really weak pick on a certain note, you can really tell if you have no like minimal to no distortion. So I practice that way. And yeah, like next level, if you practice metal songs on an acoustic and you try to get super perfect on that, I guarantee that's like the best way to practice. At least for me, that was kind of a turning point in my playing, when I started to just practice with no distortion. Of course, there's times where I do kick on the distortion and let it rip too. I mean, you can't just be all technical all the time. Sometimes you gotta have some fun. That's how I record my guitar tracks too. So all the Casket Robbery recordings, I think, except the first album, all of those I tracked here in my studio, and all of that's like super low distortion, so you can hear every articulation. Tungus says restringing sucks, but it's worth the effort. Yeah, for sure. um, I'm a super fan of these locking tuners, though. I'll try to get a close up of these. So I'm doing like the obviously, Tungus, you probably know what a locking tuner is. I'm just kind of showing for the general audience. But on the back, you can lock the string in place, and they hold tune better, but also it's just like super fast to restring. Normally I can do this in like 15 minutes if I'm not talking. Yeah, you use Spurzels too. Yeah, cool. I like them. I feel like they're still slipping out of tune though, which kind of bugs me a little bit. Yeah, light distortion for articulation practice, heavy distortion for muting practice. Yeah, that's huge too because for a while there I was practicing so much on light, um, low distortion that my palm mutes got weird for a while. Or like when I'm recording my guitar tracks, if I'm doing a chunky part and I have the really light distortion, I can't really hear how cool the chunks sound. So then I muting. What is muting practice? Here, I'll tune and I'll show you guys kind of what I'm talking about, or what Troy is talking about. By the way, I think 5:30 on the Patreon Casket Patreon, Troy is doing. I believe so. I don't know if you're still here, Troy, but you're doing the video game live stream? I was trying to squeak a live video in here before you did that. Okay. So Heather asked, what is muting practice? So give me a second here. Let's see. So I think what Troy is referring to, hopefully I got the right idea here. So on guitar you've got like you play chords, and then you can also palm mute it by putting your palm on a string. That's how you get that kind of like chunky heavy metal type breakdown feel, I guess. So what I do, like I'll go into here, let's see if this works. I'll switch my screen here. So I'll go into my amp, and for the chunky stuff, if you turn down the gain or the distortion, you can't really get that same feel. It sounds kind of wimpy. If you turn it down even more. So to kind of get that good palm mute feel, you really have to have a distortion on for that. But then for like intricate stuff, it's nice to just hear the all the articulation of the notes and stuff. So like that, I'm not warmed up very well, but that little fast part, I like to practice out with very little distortion on it. Because if you get all this distortion, all this crazy noise going on, sometimes it's hard to tell. It also depends on amps and stuff too. So, okay, sorry about that buzzing. I'm just catching up on some comments. I like chatting with you guys. I'm mostly here to hang out, honestly. Ashton said the 58 is a good microphone. Yeah, that thing is awesome, dude. That'll last you forever, too. Like, you throw it down a flight of stairs, drive over it with a car. It'll probably still work. And Heather, hopefully that made sense on the muting practice thing. I think with recording, especially, it's all about getting a good vibe and feeling good about what you're doing. So you got to find that balance between like getting a good distortion so you can hear those chunky parts, and then also like dialing the distortion back so you can actually hear every single little note a little bit better. And Troy is at 5 p.m. doing VR today, so that'll be super rad. So any Casket Patreon members, definitely check that out. I know a lot of people have been tuning into that, which is super cool. Yeah, Troy, I've been picking up the guitar and writing a lot more lately too. I don't know. I think once we launched our Patreon and stuff, and we've been more interactive and like creating content, it's actually made me a little more creative. Q says the tone is awesome. Oh, thanks, dude. Love that guitar sound. Yeah, I'll go through that again if you guys are down. Let me tune up a little bit. But it's been super fun, like, finding a guitar tone that sounds good on its own through all this software. So I'll go through that again. Let's see. So yeah, like my guitar is going directly from my guitar right into this thing, this TS-808. That kind of gives it that nice little punch. If I turn that off, a little bit flubby. And of course with Casket, it's all about getting that sick chug tone. And I was using this this amp before. It's cool. It's a little bit bitey. It sounds good in a mix, but I actually messed around a lot last night finding a tone for streaming. And I like this amp here. I think it's modeled after a Bogner Uberschall. Sounds a little more chunky and clear to me. And then shout out to Troy for giving me these Engel Pro cabs. I forget, I think it's Lancaster Audio that does these. And Troy gave me a heads up on those and told me to check these out. And then my EQ, I'm not doing anything fancy on this one. It's just cutting out lows and some highs. I find with like digital amp simulators, this is all digital, this is not a real amp, it's all like computer software. So I find that cutting off a lot of the high end makes the amp sound a little more realistic. So that's kind of what I'm doing there. Oh, Troy was referring to something different. I was kind of wondering about that. Mostly referring to the muting noise in between notes. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, if you're rocking like a ton of gain, you just get all this extra noise, which generally sucks. So I've been over the years trying to do less and less gain. It helps me live too when there's so much noise going on everywhere. Just to dial the gain back and actually hear what the heck I'm doing. Troy says it sounds German. Yeah. Yeah, if anybody knows me or has been following me for a while, I've always used like Engel amps, which are German. And I love the Bogner Uberschall, which is another German one. I tend to resonate towards those mostly. I unfortunately got rid of my Engel amp though. I had such a hard time hearing it live. If I had the money, I'd pick up another Engel or Bogner or something just to try out a bunch of different ones, but Mike, I'm in a constant battle with noise, but I keep hearing crank the gain. Yeah, sometimes, dude, you gotta let it rip. Especially when you're practicing, it doesn't matter. You know, like, obviously, do some serious practice, but then mess around and do some fun stuff, too. Satan. I'd love to try one of those. My first amp was a Randall, like a solid state. I forget what model it was. All right, I'm actually gonna try to finish restringing here. Does anyone else have a crazy issue with their guitar jack getting loose constantly? Because it seems lately every single guitar I have, this thing's loose. I'm gonna fix that in a second, but that's so annoying having to tighten that every 2 weeks. Yeah, the R Tungus. Yeah, the RH100 Randall. I think that's the same one I had. I think I might have had a 200 or something. Um, but those things were sick. I actually, to be quite honest, I wish I still had that amp. Blue Loctite. Hey, that's a good idea. I think I actually have Loctite. I should make sure it's blue, though. Your Loomis model needs a new jack, yeah. I can't complain too much because my Ibanez guitars that I had before, man, those Ibanez jacks, like those barrel jacks they had, they would just die. Like, at least these just get loose and then you tighten them, but all those Ibanez barrel jacks that I've ever had, they die within like 5 months. Just stop working. If anyone's curious about guitar pickups, I guess since Troy is here, Troy turned me on to Fishman modern pickups, which I actually have in this other guitar here. So this guy here, the Fishman Modern, these things rip and sound killer. I'll just plug in for reference. They have a really cool like bite to them, so it's a little different than anything else. It's like a pretty rad snarl or something. Troy would be better at explaining it. And what's really rad about these two is each pickup has like different voicings to it, so you can kind of flip. So I've got like this one's like the normal one, it's a little brighter, and if I flip this, this is actually set up to switch the voicing on the pickup. So this one sounds a little more like a passive. If I switch it, kind of has a little more bite to it. Hold on one second, I got a cat here. My cats are wondering what's going on. Troy says it's like the Fishmans are like EMG except consistent and good. I'm personally still a fan of EMG. I don't know. I feel bad on this green one. I forget what EMG is in there. But I like that one specifically. Let me look it up because I'm curious and I should know. There's probably somebody in the chat too that actually knows what they're talking about. It's not the 81. I'll find it in a second here. What is it? It's like a 66 or something. Having a hard time finding it. Yeah, it's one of, I don't know. It's like a 50 or what is this? Sorry, 60 or 66 or 57. I can't remember which one is the bridge pickup. But yeah, so I've got Fishman in this one. And then the EMG in this one. Q says his guitar broke 10 years ago. Oh, that's a bummer, dude. Maybe you can buy one of my guitars signed. That'd be rad, man. I don't know if I have an extra guitar at the moment. If I do decide to get rid of one of these, I'll let you know. Fishman battery life drains a lot quicker. I haven't noticed that yet, but actually I take that back. I think before I started tracking, because I think Troy and I both used Fishman guitar pickups on the album, and before I started tracking, there's something funky going on with the sound, so I changed the strings. Mike says you'll buy that bass. I've thought about selling it a few times, man. I mean, it's nice to have, though. Just sometimes when I'm writing songs, I'll actually write on the bass instead of the guitar. It's just kind of having like a different, for me, writing is all about vibe. So it's nice to have a bass just laying around in case I want to, like, I don't know, just feel something a little bit lower. But yeah, I don't know. It's weird. I like active pickups quite a bit. But for tracking, it's hard for me. I like the passives still for tracking purposes, because again, it's like an articulation thing. It's I feel like the actives get so chunky. Sometimes it's hard to hear what you're doing, and I like just I don't know. Passives feel like when you pick, you have to really give it, you know. But there's so many passives to choose from. I haven't found a passive pickup that I thoroughly love yet. with like EMG and Fishman, it's cool. You just plug in and they sound killer no matter what. The bad habit of picking too damn hard. Yeah, dude. I've been trying to mellow on the super hard picking stuff too. Actually, after I tracked the first Casket album, that's when because I was in the studio with a guy tracking it, and he kept telling me to pick harder, pick harder. So I like came to the realization that I was like a wimpy picker, and I always wanted to be like a super solid rhythm guitarist. So I spent the next long while like picking super hard. And then I think I think I pick a little too hard sometimes. Yeah, Joel Wanasek. He knows what he's talking about for sure. And yeah, everybody like or every time I've been in the studio and recorded with a producer or something, it's always pick hard, pick super hard. That's the only way all those albums, those pro albums, sound good. It's because heavy picking. And yeah, Troy uses Evertune bridges, which were absolutely phenomenal. I don't have any experience with them other than playing Troy's Evertunes. Yeah, Mike, if you do get a Solar, get an Evertune. Totally worth it. I plan, hopefully someday, that's kind of my plan too. Yeah, those Solar guitars, they look sick. Like I always thought, and I still think Jackson guitars, like these are the most badass metal guitar looking guitar you can have. But those Solars are really cool too. I'm just gonna hand tighten this jack for now. I don't think I have the right tool with me to actually tighten it. Maybe this will work. Yeah, tongue is. I think I will definitely get some Loctite for these, because both of my jacks on this guitar and my other one are so annoying. These tuners are super rad too. These snark tuners. I kept seeing all these people that had these things, and I was just old school with the old like brick tuners. But ever since I got a couple of these, they're so awesome. But I make sure they're never clipped on the end of my headstock when I'm playing, because they look dorky. They look extremely dorky. I'm just throwing that out there. Yeah, thanks for that Loctite tip. Blue Loctite. I'll definitely remember that. Sick. Let's see how this guitar sounds. Yeah, this thing's. I like this EMG pickup. It's sort of has like a little bit of a snarl to it, like the Fishman's. Gosh, I wish I could remember which model this was. But not quite as aggressive though. But it still sounds since I've played these Casket songs, honestly, everybody. I didn't have anything planned to play for you guys. We've been working on so much new material, and not playing live. I haven't really spent a lot of time on the old tracks, honestly. We're super pumped about the new stuff, though. It's nice to say that the album is officially done. The sucky part is just having it sit, and we're trying to figure out how to release it. It's kind of nice to just do some chuggy. What about a stripped down electric casket jam for the Patreon, like the acoustic one? Yeah, actually that has crossed my mind. I am really wanting to do that, and hopefully we can make that happen. I think it'd be cool if Troy and I even just sat down and did some guitar stuff, like with drum tracks or something, and did like a little guitar playthrough or something for our Patreon people. That would be pretty sick. One thing I've been wanting to do is get a graphite nut for this guitar. I think that would maybe help the tuning. I have some tuning problems with this once in a while. I haven't figured out if that's the Spurzl tuners or maybe this guitar just kind of needs a graphite nut, something to hold the strings in place better. I'd like to know how, if anybody plays 8-string or 9-string guitar, how you tune your low strings. Because I can barely get this snark tuner to recognize a low B, let alone anything lower than that. It's pretty frustrating. Big Ben's nut sauce. Does that stuff actually work? Those nut things, nut sauce. I thought about getting some, but then I was like, well, why don't I just get a graphite nut to begin with? And yeah, Mike, for sure, I think we'll definitely be doing some more guitar videos and stuff. That was kind of like the goal with all this video and audio stuff, was so that Troy's already set up and his setup is sick. But we were like to have Megan do covers and stuff when she gets home from work or whatever, things like that. We thought would be cool to have this set up. How long does that Big Ben's nut sauce last? Like if you put it on once, I'm curious. How long that actually holds up. Sorry for that Metallica outburst. I have a lot of guitar students that are learning Metallica tunes, so. I'm probably going to bail off of here in a little bit. I just wanted to come on and say hey to everybody and make sure all this stuff is working. Yeah, let it sit for a week. That's cool. I'll have to try that. Yeah, thanks everybody for just chilling and hanging out. Yeah, I didn't really know what to do today, honestly, but I figured I needed to change my strings, so I was just going to go for it and just hang out with you guys. So thanks for tuning in. Yeah, still love Metallica. I was never big into them for the longest time, but you can't deny an album like Master of Puppets. Like how rad that is. Whether you like Metallica or not. Oh yeah, Troy. Yeah, the heavy picking, knocking the tuning around. Yeah, that's always a problem. I think I said earlier, like usually when we play live, I do a little bit thicker strings just to combat that a little bit, the tuning thing. Yeah, and all the Patreon backers tune in to or jump on Patreon and catch Troy at 5 o'clock doing a VR video game stream. So that'll be pretty sick. And I think collectively, Troy, myself, and Megan, and everybody else in the band will be doing a lot more videos like this, just live streaming, playing, stuff like that. It's actually been cool hanging out with everybody because we don't get to do any live shows this year, so we miss getting out there and seeing everybody. So this has been definitely helpful to keep us all sane. Sweet. Alright, everybody. I'm going to take off. It was nice hanging with you. Thanks for hanging out and watching me work through any kinks. If you have suggestions of like audio or video quality or anything, let me know. Or if there's any issues on the stream, let me know. I'm going to continue to make this better as I go. So. Alright, have a good day, everybody. See you later. See you on the Patreon stream later with Troy.